Okay. Um, yes. Thank you everybody for coming. I know this was scheduled to be your, for the students especially, I know it was scheduled to be a class, but still you guys have come in. Thank you very much for joining in. And today we are very proud to have, and we are very honored to have Priyata ma'am with us to speak to you about unlocking your mind and increasing your awareness and training your mind to achieve bigger things and being calmer. And I think she'll be the best person to tell you what it is about. I would like to request Kavita ma'am to kindly welcome her. I know we have already talked about, we have had an informal talk already, but officially I would like to request Professor Rastogi to kindly welcome her. And then I'll definitely talk to, should I give ma'am's introduction right away? I think ma'am also, Kavita ma'am will do this. Ma'am, yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madhuri, and thank you for arranging and coordinating things for our department. So now I would like to formally invite all the participants and most importantly, today's speaker, Priyata Kumar. And I'm very happy that when I read, I was very happy to read the introduction that she is a Raj Yoga practitioner. A little bit of yoga I always do. So that's why I was happy to learn that. And she's not only practicing it, she's also teaching Raj Yoga at Education Research Foundation. So welcome, Priyata ji. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank counseling cell and especially Professor Pradhan and her all the colleagues to giving us this opportunity to organize this lecture and most importantly to hear our speaker today. Um, I have a long association. One of my very good friend is from Department of Psychology. Her name is Professor Pallavi Bhatnagar. So I think very long ago, when we were talking about mental health. So the issue of mental health usually, uh, so I'm just presenting my views and what I have noticed in the community. In the present circumstances, in the present pandemic situation, whenever we wish or we write someone a message, we do use a phrase, stay healthy, stay safe. But while we use this phrase, what I have observed, we our intention is about physical health, because what I have observed and noticed that usually we do not want to talk about mental health. These issues are taboo in our society. And during many workshops which I attended with the help due to my association with Professor Bhatnagar, I had always noticed this fact. So a very small suggestion for my dear students who are joining this webinar today. Uh, Please do not consider this issue as a taboo. If you have any kind of pressure related to your studies, related to your family problems, try to talk about it. I hope Priyata will tell you many things about regarding this, but just a little suggestion. Because I'm taking this opportunity to contact all the students, because due to pandemic, they are not visiting the department. So sometimes students have different kinds of problem related to their families, and many stresses, many tensions are there. Just a suggestion and a small advice from your teacher: do not keep those things in your mind. Please be open, try to talk to your friends, talk to your elders, and do not consider this issue as a taboo. So with these words, um, I will once again welcome all the participants and especially our speaker. And over to you, Madhuri. If you, I think, if you have, um, you want to say something about Priyata more, because I think she needs no introduction. And once she will start her lecture, all of us will be engrossed and will be benefited by that. But over to you, Madhuri.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am, Professor Rastogi. Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am, I think you have joined, right, Vaishali
Good
ma'am?
afternoon, everyone.
I'll just
Good
put you on the
afternoon,
spotlight,
Namaskar,
ma'am.
ma'am. Hello, Madhuri.
Hello, ma'am. I'll just put you on spotlight.
Hello,
One
hello,
second, ma'am.
hello. I'm sorry just for this delay. Uh, I'm very happy for this session. Uh, mm, just few words I would like to add about this counseling guidance cell, and then little bit about this program. And definitely, as Dr. Rastogi, she has, both of you have selected such a beautiful topic for today, especially during this challenging period. Ma'am, career, this counseling and guidance cell, it is in its first year. It is this is its inception year, and it has been established on 20th October 2020 with the twin aim. It is in line with the new education policy, and our honorable vice chancellor Professor Alok Kumar Rai ji has incepted it with the two objectives. First, to provide mental health and psychological support to our student by providing them counseling, proper guidance, so they can develop themselves mentally, they can develop their skills, psychological well-being, and so on. And another objective of this cell is to provide them career guidance as well, because we all know that nowadays students, they are going through loss of anxiety, loss of stress because of their careers, that what they are going to do in their future, and things like that. So this cell has two objectives: first, to provide psychological well-being of the students, and second is to give them career guidance. That is why the structure includes two units: one devoting to the psychological well-being, and another to the career guidance. Ma'am, there is no hierarchy as such. It is all team functioning. There is a director, we all know, Professor Madhurma Pradhan, and then there are two deputy directors. One is Dr. Lalit, and another myself. And all of various faculties, they have representatives in the form of coordinators. So it is just a team functioning. When as a deputy director I was asked to prepare some program, then I thought that every department and every stakeholder should be included in this process, and we must celebrate uh, its first year of inception, and so we can continue with this tradition. Talking of celebration during this challenging time is very, very precious, because why we are celebrating? We are celebrating education, we are celebrating endurance, and we are celebrating our commitment to bring changes as far as our students have been concerned, to shape their future for in a progressive manner. So this is the aim, this is the vision of our cell. And so I just designed this program where every department, every stakeholder will be included, and we are ensuring that each day there is some activity related to this counseling and guidance cell. We have devoted 2 days. We are scheduling departments and institutes for 2 days. One for doing some mental health activity, and another day is for career guidance activity. So they can choose one day according to their own choice, and one day has been allotted by us. I'm so thankful. I show my gratitude to Dr. Rastogi, Professor Rastogi, for giving us this opportunity, where linguistic department can collaborate with us, because this celebration is incomplete if all these stakeholders are not participating. So I'm thankful to Dr. Rastogi. I'm thankful to Dr. Madhuri for organizing this. And ma'am, I was going through your flair, although I know nothing about Raj Yoga. But I think all of us are interested, because this is very challenging time, and all of us are interested. Not only our students, but all the teachers. They are also interested to know that how they can adjust, how they can cope up with the challenges which are there due to pandemic, and how they can make their lives resilient. So today's topic is so relevant. It is, I mean, it is such a beautiful blend that how one can progress in life despite various challenges by applying their mental faculties, by enhancing one's awareness, one's psychological skills, and things like that. So, on the behalf of Career Guidance Cell, I also welcome our today's guest speaker, Miss Priyata Kumar ji. Thank you so much, ma'am, for thinking like this and just gracing this occasion. I'm sure that this session is going to be a wonderful session. I request Dr. Madri that she will make us this recording, because I also have some commitment, moderation work is going on. I'm supposed to be there after some time, so I will be able to hear some part of it, not entire. So I'll hear it later on. Thank you so much. And now I hand over to you, Madhuri ji.
Absolutely, ma'am. The meeting is already being recorded and we will put this up on our YouTube channel as well. So thank you very much for coming here. I know you were suffering from some problems regarding with the net, and so therefore really thankful to you for making it. And I would again like to thank Professor Madhurima Pradhan ma'am for introducing us to such a wonderful speaker for our event today. Thank you very much for ma'am for coming. And before I think we can absolutely start now. But before we can start, I'll just say one sentence about the counseling and guidance cell. I think two words which ma'am used were extremely important, and which is the first one is participatory. I have to appreciate the participatory nature that you have started with all the events, and you are encouraging us to participate, and you are the counseling and guidance cell is actually making us have a sense of belonging towards the guidance cell as well. So thank you very much for doing that. And the second one, obviously, everybody is talking about it nowadays, mental health. And I'm very, very thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, because I do not think that mental health had been this huge a deal before this in the university. And it has completely been the idea of sir that he has insisted that we do care about the mental health of our students. And even though we were doing it, we were doing it previously as well, but in a structured, formalized manner, having such counselors, having access to such counselors, and giving access to such counselors for our students has been a wonderful step towards the right direction, I would like to say. So thank you, Vaishali ma'am, and thank you, sir, who is not here, but still we would like to thank him for his foresightedness in this. And now, finally, we would like to invite our speaker for today, Priyata ma'am. I think we can call her Brahma Kumari Priyata ma'am. Yeah, and I think I'll hand over to you, ma'am, and I'll mute everybody else so that ma'am does not have any disturbance. Gaurav sir, I think you have co-host rights as well, and you can do the presentation for ma'am as she sees fit. Yes, ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much, Madhuri, and everybody for such wonderful guiding and beautiful words shared by all of you. So today's session is about training your mind by increasing the awareness. And like Kavita ma'am rightly said, there has been very little focus on why we should train our mind at all, or why we should even talk about training your mind or associate it with a mental health issue unless pandemic happened. But trust me, even before pandemic, and I would like to share it from the experience that when you are completed with your studies, and I have studied in Lucknow University, and when you go out of the university and you build your career, and at the same time, you also have a beautiful life ahead of you, which does not just means your career. There is a constant learning that is required. There are so many demands of life and demands of work that you have to constantly upgrade yourself. So in such a time when you are stepping just out of college, getting a job, like Madhuri just shared her experience with the wonderful university team that she had, for me it was not such a great luck. From a small place like Lucknow, I was working in Bombay and I was working in Delhi, and I started working in a multinational culture where you have multinational culture. Along with that, you have multilinguistic culture as well, where people are speaking a completely different language from what I have been brought up into. So immediately I had to upgrade my skills, learn a new language, and it was not just one language that you have to adapt to. You have to adapt to different set of people talking in a different dialect. It could be a person coming from South India, it could be a person working in US, and in US also it's such a huge territory. The language, the dialect changes in every few kilometers. So, adapting to such a varied cultural environment and linguistic environment is a challenge. So, there we are supposed to learn the new culture, learn a new language, and adapt. And of course, the skill set. We are not equipped with the kind of work that we are doing in our jobs and the kind of education that we get in the university. The two things are way separate. So they give you a different skill set. So there we were required to learn not just a skill set related to your job, a new language, a new culture, and to do so along with a new life. Some of us are building a life where we also have a work relationships, we also have to manage home relationships, we have a love life, we also have a family life, we have a social life. And apart from that, so much of new things you are learning. So where is the time to do all of that, unless you decide that you have to train your mind to somehow manage all these things along with the time that you have in hand. So the only option that is left then is to upgrade not just your skill set, not just a language, not just a cultural learning, but also to upgrade your mind. Just like if you're working with a low speed computer system, and if our requirement is to conduct a Zoom meeting, you have to sometimes upgrade your system to meet the demands of an online meeting, an online camera system, an online audio system, and constant upgradation is required. Similarly, an upgradation is required in the way we think. So that is why we need to train our mind and increase our awareness. So I think this PPT is not moving. Yeah. So what are these demands? So the demands are constant demands of life, learning, and work, along with your relationships at a personal level. Then we also, when you are pressurized to work and meet all these demands, there comes a fear that you may or may not be able to do so in the required time. Maybe you are not capable to learn this much. Maybe if you're focusing on the learning part, you are letting go of your personal relationships. If you are focusing more on the office culture, more on the work environment, then somewhere there is a lag that comes in your personal life, in your social life, and you have no time to enjoy. You don't have time to even concentrate on the physical health. And there is a constant demand of work that takes a toll on your physical health also. So, what we do? So, what are the results of these demands? The demands result in a fear of losing at some front of the other, which leads to anxiety. I am not able to cope up with the system. I'm not able to cope up with the demands. Then there comes stress, there comes frustration, there comes lack of motivation, and there are certain other personal issues that somehow we are sometimes stuck with the thought process so much that we are not able to focus on anything, and we end up being depressed also, which is what is happening in pandemic these days. We have piled of work, we have piled of studies, we have lots of work at home to do. At the same time, we have limited time and we have no way that we can enjoy our social life. We can go hang out with friends that the way we used to do earlier. So in such a time, what do we do? So what we do is we need to train our mind. So before we go ahead and understand what are the requirements and why we should need to train our mind, I think this PPT is not moving. We need to understand that we also need to create an awareness about the brain, the body, and the life force. Why we need an awareness? Because what we have been thinking is, we have been thinking ourselves as this body, or we are thinking that brain is what is controlling our body, and somehow there is a problem with our thoughts, there is a problem with our emotions. We are not able to make up with the demands because of the limited time. So we confuse ourselves and we are not aware which part of me is the life force which is running this body, which part of me is the brain, and what and how my brain works. So here with Raj Yoga, I came to learn that we function mostly out of three faculties of our brain. One, we call it as mind, जिसको हम कहते हैं मन, which creates thoughts and emotions. This is our conscious mind. Now the conscious mind only has 10% of the contribution to the work that we are doing, to the life that we are living. 10% of this contribution is of direct instructions or thoughts that we create, and then it goes to our intellect, which we call as our mind, which discriminates, judge, and visualize. And finally, 90% is our subconscious mind, which completely controls most of our body functions and which is also called our habit mind. Now, what we think, how we feel, we decide accordingly, we say accordingly, we act accordingly, we also visualize simultaneously, and the end result act that we do, and if we do it repeatedly, it becomes our habit and becomes our subconscious mind, which is also known as a habit mind. Now 90% of all the things that we do is coming from this subconscious mind, which is also there running our memory system, based on our memory system. So the 10% conscious mind gives instructions to 90% of the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind does not have any logic, rhyme, or reason. It simply does whatever is fed to it by the conscious mind. So now what we think, what emotions we create, it is directing our subconscious mind, indirectly directing our body. So how our body is reacting in pandemic, how our immunity system is reacting in pandemic, how we are feeling stressed all the time, tired all the time. In spite of the fact that we may not be putting in so much of physical labor, we are constantly feeling drained. We think that we are spending time socializing on WhatsApp, on TV, and we think that we will relax, but it is actually not relaxing us. Temporarily, we feel satisfied, but then after the relaxation time is over, oh my God, I have not done my work. Oh my God, exams are on the head and I have not finished studies. Then all these things keep coming to us, and then it turns into an anxiety. It turns into a stress which gets accumulated in our body. We are not able to control how we think, what we feel, and the result is anger, frustration. Now, what here we need to understand is the 10% can, with the right training, give the right instructions to the habit mind or the subconscious mind, which is actually running most of our functions. The ability to develop or train ourselves is called neuroplasticity. Now, our brain, it has been thought earlier that there is a limit to which our brain grows or it can change. But trust me, neuroplasticity as a science and neurogenesis as a science, it has proved that the nature of our brain is to change. So, how we train it to function, how we train it to upgrade our skill set, how we train it with using the power of focused attention, along with our ability to apply commitment, hard work, dedication, we can direct our choices and actions, and therefore, thereby, we can rewire our brain to work for us the way we want, and it will follow our true self. Now, the true self is not my hand or my brain or my legs or my rest of the body system. It is just a part of me. The true self that we call as myself, if I call myself as Priyata, Priyata is not this hand. Priyata is not just a brain. Priyata is not just a body. Priyata is the life force that is running this body, directing the brain, the two sets of my brain, the conscious brain and the subconscious brain. And then we are doing the 90% of the functioning of the organs. Now, with attention and training, we can decide what genes we turn on and which genes we turn off. Now, you will ask me why I am talking all science here. What does it has to do with your everyday life? Well, for that matter, let me tell you, in everyday life, what we are not able to do is balance. We want to do a lot of things and we are not able to do a lot of things. We are affected by our emotions. We are affected by what other people are telling us. We are affected by pandemic. We are affected by our circumstances. We are affected by people with environment. We are affected by all these conditions on which we have zero control. Pandemic, we have zero control. Now, how I feel in pandemic is in my hands. But when I say that I want to think differently, most people say, ma'am, I want to think differently, but I'm not able to stop my mind. I'm not able to stop my thoughts. Ma'am, I'm feeling anxiety. I'm feeling panic attacks. Ma'am, I'm not able to do what I want. Instead, I have a phone. I have my friends. I escape whenever I am pressurized. I always go back to the social media. And when I come back to my real life, when I see the pile of work, all I have is frustration, anxiety. Now, neurogenesis, which is a new science which says that every brain generates 10,000 stem cells every day. What you pay attention to and how you pay attention changes and decides how these stem cells are used. If you don't use it in new learning, enhancing your capabilities, these cells die. So now the choice is yours. 25% of this body's energy is consumed by your brain. That's why sometimes you are just lying at one place inside your home the whole day. At the end of the day, ideally you should not be exhausted because you was just sitting at one place and studying, or just on the social media, but you feel tired, you feel demotivated, you feel wasted, you feel anxious, because 25% of our body's energy is consumed by the brain, and the brain uses most of this energy to create thoughts through mind. So our mind creates thoughts and emotions. Now, this is not just limited to our mind. Whatever we think, there is a chemical which is being released in our body in sync with the thoughts that we generate. So if you create a very happy thought, you're all happy, full of love, bliss, uh, if you're full of excitement, your body is generating happy hormones. It is generating happy chemical molecules that is going to every cell of your body, and it is saying happy, happy. Now, with happy cells, happy hormones, happy chemicals released in your body, you have a very good vital systems, you have a high immunity level. But on the contrary, if you have created negative thoughts, now negative thoughts are thoughts of anxiety, stress, sadness, fear. Now, these create hormones and uh, certain chemicals which we call as negative chemicals. One of them are cortisols. Now, cortisol is not bad. It gets you all tighten up and to fight. So, but releasing cortisol all the time in the body, it actually diminishes your immune system. And then in the end, if somebody is infected with a viral infection, the body systems are already down. You have increased the level of cortisols being released from your brains, and then 80% of the damage is done here and not here. And if the damage is done here, if you're not creating enough of hormones like endorphins, stress-free hormones, then your lungs are going to get attacked majorly. Because if you're aware, whenever a person is having a problem related to lungs or asthma, if a person is having an anxiety or a panic attack, the medicine that is given to them are stress-releasing hormones, which are naturally being produced in your mind if you're in a happy state. That's why you resort to things like Raj Yoga, physical yoga, exercise, workout, music, dance. All these things are very nice. Now, the problem with people like me who are working 24 by 7 sometimes. When I say 24 by 7, I could hardly get a sleep of around 6 hours. I have to manage my work demands, life demands, relationship demands, home demands, you know, and constant learning demands. Adapting to a new language, a new environment, it needs learning. Where is the time to learn yoga? Where is the time to do physical exercise? So this helped me as a solution. Raj Yoga is a wonderful solution that came to me because mindfulness is something that I have been trying for a long time. And there are different ways of meditating and achieving mindfulness. How Raj Yoga helped me realize is it helps me learn to train my mind while I'm on the go. I do not have to be out of my work, go out, reach some place, go on a retreat for 10 days, and then achieve a peaceful, blissful state. Raj Yoga trains me to train my mind while I am sitting in office, while I am driving my daughter to the school, while I am waiting for her to come out of the school, while I am taking her back from there, while I'm brushing my teeth, while I'm cooking my meal, while I am doing anything where my brain is just overthinking on something that is not required right now, but my brain is occupied. So, what I taught myself or trained myself with the help of Raj Yoga is to use that time of driving. In fact, sometimes I'm also having to be part of certain training sessions which takes long hours, like 6 or 7 hours. And sometimes I have to just be part of a presentation wherein I'm not directly involved. So in such times, I can also be part of the presentation and at the same time with auto suggestions train my mind. So Raj Yoga helps me achieve what I want while on the go, while I do my work. So Raj Yoga simply means Raja and Yoga. Raja means master. I am the master of my mind. Yoga is the union. So the union part of the yoga part, now people sometimes confuse yoga, which is mental exercise, with yoga, which is a physical exercise. Now, some of us may not be very in sync with the physical part of the exercise, but mentally, if we are training our mind to release the right hormones and achieve a blissful state, we can use that energy to also drive a beautiful body because you need a beautiful body, you need a beautiful mind, you need health, you need safety, and then you also need learning. So, Raj Yoga gives us certain simple concentration exercise wherein I am able to observe my thoughts. Now, what are the four kind of thoughts that we just saw? Those are positive, negative, waste, and necessary. Positive thoughts are the thoughts that makes me feel elated. Simply a blissful state of mind, a happy state of mind, full of love, compassion. These are some gratitude, these are some of the thoughts that help us. Negative thoughts are the thoughts that bring down our energy. Fear, anxiety, stress, emotions related to a stressful person, a stressful situation comes under the category of negative. Based is when we are rethinking and overthinking on something that does not require that much of time. It simply required, say, 5 minutes of my time, and I spend the rest of the day analyzing what I spoke to that person and understanding and reanalyzing whether I said the right thing or not, or what should I say next time I meet him. So these are all waste conversations that keep happening in our mind. Necessary is work related. How much brain is required to be utilized to understand how best I can do the present task at hand. So can we have the next slide, please? So creating supportive emotions with affirmations and auto suggestions, you give input to your brain. So here we learn certain affirmations. Affirmations are positive thoughts that we deliberately create so that we can bank upon them when we have a bad situation or a bad conversation during the day. Auto suggestions are used to enhance the capability of our mind. We lower our self-esteem by giving us negative statements. I can't do this. मेरे से ये हो नहीं पाएगा. I just can't manage this. This is not possible for me. We use and give such suggestions all the time. Auto suggestions in a positive manner enhances the capability of our subconscious mind to perform at a much higher level. So we give the right inputs to our brain. The memories that we create of a blissful state of mind where we are more receptive. Now, suppose I have to do a learning. For example, I have to learn a new language or a phonetics or a cultural information about my client, for example. Then, if I'm in a peaceful, blissful state that I create with the use of Raj Yoga, it is easier for me to keep my focus or attention and turn it into my permanent memory that I can use later on when I'm interacting with my client. Because changing your accent, the way you speak, is not easy. You have developed it over a period of time. Now, changing it in a week or in 2 or 3 days, it's very difficult. So, when you are in a particular state of mind, we have 4 wavelengths of our brain. So, with Raj Yoga, if I can change the wavelength of our mind and bring it to a certain wavelength among the 4 where I'm more relaxed, then whatever instructions I receive in the form of studies, lessons, sessions, I am able to retain the information more. So, what I do is to increase my awareness, I relabel my suggestions. For example, I just take one suggestion here. I relabeled my anxiety, saying, giving an auto suggestion, my fear or anxiety is not real. I'm feeling anxious right now. I've not met, I don't think I have prepared the right report. I have to submit it. It's not up to the mark. I'm feeling anxious. What will happen in the meeting? Or I'm simply pressed with time and I'm not able to meet the deadline. Now I'm anxious. So I give an auto suggestion, a deliberate auto suggestion that my fear and anxiety is not real. Then I reattribute it. These feelings that are coming along with fear and anxiety, the feeling could be of panic, restlessness, low self esteem. This is coming from a faulty circuit of my brain and not me, the life force. Refocus. Go do something else. Do something about the task in hand or refrain from generating more of such negative thoughts which can bring down my energy level and the state of my mind. Revalue. Negative and waste thoughts are worthless distractions which have to be ignored. So, if I can move to the next slide. So here, I will not take much of your time. It's already 12:50. I have just given you a glimpse of what Raj Yoga does. Raj Yoga makes us observe through just a minute exercises that I do during my day. Every few hours or 1 minute in an hour, I just focus my attention on my thoughts, see what is the pattern of my thought, analyze. Gradually, I learn to change the pattern of my thoughts, mold it, stop it sometimes, change it completely, and along with the thoughts, generate the right emotions so that I am able to create a happy, blissful state of mind, even in a pandemic where I cannot go out and have fun with my friends. So, here I ask all of you to come up with some questions, if at all.
Thank you so much, Priyata ma'am, for doing this. I'm sure we learned a lot. We do have Madhurima ma'am with us here today. She did find out sometime. Ma'am, would you like to say something, Madhurima ma'am? Ma'am, you have to unmute yourself. I'm so sorry.
So I would like to say sorry for not joining within the time. I got some engagement. So I first like to congratulate the head of the department, Professor Kavita Rastogi ji, for hand-holding with counseling and guidance cell and organizing this program. And the Madhuri Kakoti, you are also organized this program with a very brief notice. So I would like to say thank you to you. And I think that Dr. Vishali might have told the vision and mission of our counseling and guidance cell. We thought that we have to connect with our students to develop not only their academic intelligence, but their psychological immunity and their career skills also. So we just thought we had to should have two programs, one related to mental health issues and second related to career skills. So this is just a beginning, and I'm confident that Department of Linguistics will organize another program. And I like that if the students could please interact with us, so that if there are any questions, we'd love to answer those questions. If they have any query related to the topic presented today by so nicely by Ms. Priyata Kumar. And I would like to say thanks to Priyata and Gaurav Bhai for being here and accepting to be a resource person with such a short notice. So that's what I wanted to say. And if any questions are there, please share.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for coming today. And like we said in the beginning, we are extremely grateful and thankful to the counseling and guidance cell to, of course, starting the conversation about mental health, to ensure participation of students and the connection of teachers and students in during these times. So thank you very much, ma'am. Priyata ma'am, I would first of all, everybody who is listening, all the participants, if you have any questions, you can send them in chat box. I have some questions from students who have
Your voice is not very much clear, Madhuri. There is some disturbance, and I would request the participants to please mute your mics. And if you don't want to disclose your name, it's all okay. You can send your questions to Madhuri ma'am, and she will ask on your behalf. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, that some of the students are not very comfortable in sharing their name. There are some questions to me. I will put the questions up right now in front of you, and then obviously we can take the questions which are coming in. I think I see we have a question from student. But before we ask question, Priyata, there is a question from a student who is pretty anxious. And, they have shared with me that because of their anxiety, they are procrastinating doing something in the classroom, not just in the classroom, but really
your voice is not getting clear to me. I think all others are able to listen. Priyata, are you getting the voice of Madhuri?
No, it is slightly muffled.
Oh, okay.
You can put the question in the chat box without mentioning any name.
There is a question in the chat box. It says, is manifestation also a part of mindfulness and Raj Yoga? Yes. When I say manifestations, trust me, if you're creating few thoughts and very constructive thoughts, they manifest in your life. It's like children. For example, if you have two children, you'll be able to nurture them, provide them with the best, and raise them as a very successful human being. Now, suppose you have 12 children. So, will you be able to give the same kind of nurturing to every child of yours? Same goes with thoughts. In a minute, if you are raising more than 40 thoughts in a minute, trust me, it is manifesting in the form of disease later on in your life. On the other hand, if you are focusing on some constructive, necessary thoughts, they are also become a reality in your life. So manifestation definitely is part of Raj Yoga. We believe in that. You make your destiny. The way you think, the thoughts you create, it gets manifested not just in your life, but also has an influence on the mind and personalities of the people living with you.
May I add something, Priyata?
Yeah. Sorry, ma'am.
May I add something to it?
Yes, please, ma'am. I would love to hear that.
Okay, I would like to say that you have told what mindfulness is, but the greatest advantage of mindfulness is that we are present focused. What is happening in the moment we are just focusing our attention on that. And on the contrary, if we are focusing our energy on the past, what has happened or what will happen in future, we may miss many novel things, many creative things, many minute things which are happening in the present moment. So if we are just focusing on our present, we can be more creative, we can come out with more creative ideas, novel ideas, and you can believe that what is your present will become your future, and it will become your past as well. So present focus is the most important thing in creating your thoughts. And if you sow the seeds of positivity and creativity to your mind, it will manifest in a more positive outcome and goal achievement and some transformations in your life. So it's a key to for your growth and for your success in your life. Thank you.
I have another question here from Madhuri. A student suffers from anxiety. They are procrastinating doing daily work, even small chores regularly. Is it a sign of depression? They want to get diagnosed. If yes, what should they do to come out of it? Now, there are three things. If a person is suffering from anxiety, sometimes the anxiety or the related feelings does not let them do the work at hand, because of procrastination the work has become piled up, and now they do not think they'll be able to do this work or perform this task in the given time. And the moment they start realizing this, they feel a fear of losing. It could be, if it is related to studies, then they are like suddenly aware that, oh my god, my exam is on the head, I have not completed this work. Now no way I can complete this in certain period of time, and I'm definitely going to fail. And the related thought process and the feelings that get generated, they leads to anxiety. Now anxiety does not mean that you are under depression. Depression is a particular state for which you should go and meet a psychiatrist to decide whether you are in depression. If you are generating anxiety, stress, and certain hormones which are closer to, then you need to address it first. Deciding whether you need a medication is something that a psychiatrist should decide. A psychologist should identify first. Then you should label yourself as depressed. Identifying the emotions is very important. Do not, if you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling stress, if you're feeling fear, come out, talk. Madhurima ma'am is such an angel. She has set up a whole counseling cell where you can call and talk to the trained psychologist. Let them decide and let them help you. Now, procrastination is a habit. How you make a habit is, when you repeatedly do something, then it becomes part of your subconscious memory and you do it naturally. So the only way to come out of it is to rewire your brain. Now, how our brain functions is, they create a pattern, and the moment a pattern is created, there are a certain chemical that is released in the body. So, for example, with a certain emotion, if you create panic, if you create fear, if you create anxiety, so every time you see that person or you are in that situation, same set of reaction happens in your brain and you end up feeling anxious. So it has become a pattern of your thoughts, a pattern of chemical release in your brain and body. So you need to rewire it. The rewiring takes 3 or 4 months completely to change it. But yes, you can stop the process by training your mind. Trust me, the release of chemical has become a habit in your mind. The moment I see a person with which I'm not very comfortable with, suddenly my brain, and people can see it on my face, it is stressed, angry, it's frustrated, just by seeing a certain person, because I had a bad conversation with that person. And the person could be my family member, the person could be a teacher with which I don't get along very well. So you need to train your mind. That's where it is. We need to change the way we think. It has become a taboo to address such feelings, basically. So I think Kavita ma'am has a role here to play, wherein you can, create an awareness about talking it out, dealing with it, rather than, just escaping it, procrastinating it, and later, yeah. Sometimes well-wishers advise to ignore situations that trigger one's anxiety rather than dealing with it. Ma'am, what is your take on it?
Very well said, Priyata. I would like to say my view in this question.
Yes, ma'am, please.
There are three important terms which has been used in this question: anxiety, procrastination, and depression. Right. So I would like to tell that sometimes they are normal in life, and everybody, if so ever say that I never have anxious anxiety, I never felt depression, I never procrastinated, it's not right. Each one of us आर एंशियस, कभी ना कभी हम सबको चिंता होती है, हम कभी ना कभी हम सब प्रोक्रेस्टिनेट करते हैं, अरे आज नहीं करेंगे कल कर लेंगे, या डिप्रेस भी होते हैं. बट अगर वो चीज प्रोलॉन्ग हो जाती है, इट मींस इट टेक्स 1 week or 2 weeks continuously, then it's a matter of concern, right? So one small tip I can tell, because we are addressing the students, what's the reason behind such emotions, that you are in a stage of setting goals and achieving it. So I would suggest one small tip, that you can, if you are having anxiety that you are not able to achieve your goal, or just procrastinating because you're not having interest in doing that, you are feeling depressed because not achieving your goal, so you can divide your goals into small steps, and you can take the help of those people who can motivate you, take the help of your friends. तो जो एक बड़ा गोल है उसको अगर आप अचीव नहीं कर पा रहे हो, कहीं मन में डिप्रेशन आ रहा है, अरे हमने सोचा था कि आज हम 2 चैप्टर पढ़ लेंगे, बट हम तो आधा भी नहीं पढ़ पा रहे हैं, तो क्या हो रहा है? तो आप छोटा गोल बनाओ, आप ये सोचो कि आप 2 चैप्टर नहीं पढ़ोगे, आप कोई एक पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक पढ़ोगे आज के दिन में, और अगर आप वो कर लेते हो तो जस्ट कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट योर सेल्फ, आपने आपको पैट भी करो कि आपने ये करा, तो ये जस्ट मोटिवेट योर सेल्फ एंड गेट मोटिवेशन फ्रॉम अदर्स, because during corona pandemic we are struggling in so many things, so we should not over expect from our own self, लेकिन अगर small steps से हम करेंगे, we can make goal for a day or for a week, for 15 days, and अगर हम उसको achieve कर लेते हैं तो we have it will build up our own self esteem and confidence. So this is a small tip for our students. Thank you.
Ma'am, there is one more question. Sometimes well-wishers advise to ignore situations that trigger one's anxiety rather than dealing with it. Ma'am, what is your take on this? Madhurima ma'am, would you like to add some here? Then I'll take it from the Raj Yoga point of view.
Okay. I would like to say that sometimes ignoring can be a coping strategy, but too much of it can be a problem. So we cannot prescribe anything, but if there who is your well-wisher and you have a faith on that person, you have confidence and trust on that person, and you are not able to decide anything, so it is better to take the help or the advice of your well-wisher. But you keep on thinking, keep on your own thinking, this time I'm ignoring, what can be done in future to move upon. Sometimes you can take ignoring things can be a coping strategy apart from others. बहुत सारी चीजें होती हैं कि कुछ समय पर हम उसको इग्नोर करते हैं, लेकिन थोड़े समय के बाद हम फिर एक नई ऊर्जा के साथ, एक नई एनर्जी के साथ we just come up to deal with that situation. So most important thing is your energy level, your decision making capacity, your problem solving capacity. If you are in a state of anxiety, overthinking, so you can ignore certain things for a while. ठीक है, थोड़े समय के लिए छोड़ दो, and after some time the solution may come automatically to your mind. अपने आप आ जाएगा वो. And have faith somewhere. So it may be your friend, be your parents, be God or anything, because faith sometimes works so well. Thank you. Priyata, you can add on, please.
I would just like to add here, sometimes we ignore people or situations as per the advice of our well-wishers, and sometimes it is required also for the time being, for a certain period, if the well-wisher, because the situation here is not mentioned. So I cannot rightly comment whether a particular situation, the gravity I am not aware of. But if a well-wisher is saying, but sometimes well-wishers advise to ignore certain situation which should not be ignored also, because they are afraid of the social stigma or a lot of things. So the situation is not mentioned. I would just like to add here, sometimes we are able to ignore situation in people outside. It looks that we have done that, but inside our brain, it is still there. It is going on in our mind. So when people say ignore, are we really able to let go from here? What is the gravity of situation and why we are not able to let go? We have to learn to let go from here. If it is just a conversation and a heated argument, it is a situation that we need to rethink here, settle it here, and then realize it. If it is a physical situation, a person is threatened physically in an immediate environment or something, there are certain issues that needs to be addressed. So depending on the situation, because here the situation is not mentioned, I would say you have to let the solution come with the faith, like rightly ma'am said. But if it is not coming and here you are upset, then you need to clear your mind from here. There are suggestions that you can use. There are ways that you can do it. There are exercises to do it. I would suggest such people should give a call and share it, come out with it, so that we can give you the specific auto suggestion or an exercise. Or we can simply listen to you. Sometimes people are piling up things inside them and not able to share it with anyone. So it is just building in their head and it is decreasing your energy levels and resulting in depression. Yeah. So I think we are already past the time allotted to us.
Yes, ma'am, we have. And also, the students have classes. They have to quickly go and join. So, thank you so much again for being here. And I would really like to, now I would like to hand it over to Sri Kumar sir, Professor K. Sri Kumar sir of our department, and to extend the formal vote of thanks to everybody present here, including CGC, Dean CGC, and all our students who have been here. So, second, I'll just. So could you please unmute yourself? Yeah.
Well, it was a very nice and brilliant lecture from you, Priyata Kumar. Actually, we are passing through certain uncertain and unexpected times, and most of us are not able to cope with the present situation. Primarily, the students and children. They are used to go to school most of the time, but now they are put up with staying at home, and that puts a lot of stress on them. They are not really understanding the situation. So in such a situation, what should the kind of approach that one should adopt, that you have tried to bring it out very beautifully in your lecture. You have advocated for reorienting ourselves to deal with the situation that we are put up with, and the kind of Raja Yoga you have proposed. I think it is some kind of a karma yoga, that is without staying away from your daily duties. You are advocating for trying reorienting ourselves, or you want us to accept the situation and then try to come out of it. So it was a very brilliant lecture from you about this, and we are very thankful from the department for having given us a wonderful lecture. And this program was organized in collaboration with the counseling, just a minute here, the counseling and guidance cell. We are extremely thankful to the director of the cell, Dr. Professor Madhurima Pradhan. We are also thankful to Madhuri for having organized the webinar in a very befitting manner. We are also thankful to all the students who have joined us at a very short notice. So it is thank you all once again for having joined us for this wonderful webinar. Thank you.
I would just like to say one last thing. Since the time is not there, so I could not make you experience Raj Yoga because it cannot be described in such a short time along with the theory part. So whenever you have time, this is completely free of cost. We can have an experiential session later at your demand. So Kakur, Madhuri has my number, and Madhurima ma'am also knows me very well. We are part of the Happy Thinking Lab where we conduct these sessions. So you can request her, and we can do it next time. More of an experiential sessions. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think now we can close the session. We'll be sharing the recording with Madhurima ma'am as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Thank you.